U.S.A. Denver officially, the city and the district Denver. The largest city and the administrative center of the state of Colorado and also the administrative center of the second, after El Paso. On population in the District of Colorado, Denver. The population makes 649,495. 2013. And determines Denver as the 22nd city in the USA by the number of the population, in the Denver metropolitan area minus 2,697,476. 21st in population. Denver is the largest city in a radius of 800 km and also the second in population in mountain states after Phoenix. The city is located in the valley of the South Platte River in the west of the High Plains and a little to the east of the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains. Besides, Denver has the nickname City at Mile Height because it is at the height of 1 mile. 1609. 344 m. Above sea level, that is it by one of the most mountain largest cities of the U.S.A. History. The former governor territory Kansas James Denver visiting the city called in his honor in 1875 and 1882. Denver was founded in November 1858 as the miners' town during the Colorado Gold Rush in east part of the territory Kansas. In the summer of that year, the group of the gold miners who arrived from Lawrence founded the settlement on East River Bank, South Platte, which received the name Montana City. Further on this place the city of Denver was also formed. However, to summer of 1859 the settlement was abandoned because of depletion of deposits, and a row based in U, called Auraria, in honor of Latin aurum, gold. On November 22, 1858 the General William Larimer, the land speculator from East Kansas, redeemed a ground on the place of confluence South Platte and the Cherry Stream for preparation of the wood. He called the settlement of Denver formed on this place in honor of the governor of the territory Kansas James Denver. Larimer hoped that such name of the town will help him to become the administrative center of the district of Arapahoe, but the governor already resigned by then and resigned. The location of the settlement was in the region of tracks and camp parking of Indians and Cheyenne. The location of these pioneer settlements is around Confluence Park in modern Denver's center now. Larimer sold grounds to dealers and gold miners, intending to found in the near future the large city which will serve newly arrived emigrants. Denver at the time was the boundary city with the economy based on trade in cattle and service of local workers with saloons and taverns with gamblings. Those years earth plots were quite often lost in cards to businessmen from Auraria. In May 1859 Denver's inhabitants offered 53 sites of the Leavenworth and Pikes Peak Express Company for laying of the first railroad in the region. In 1863 the Western Union Company strengthened Denver's position as transport hub of the region, having organized switch chart for the arriving freights there. On February 28, 1861 the territory of Colorado was formed. The district of Arapahoe is created on November 1, 1861, and on November 7, 1861 Denver was its part. The city was in structure of the district till 1902 when the integrated city district was formed. On August 1, 1876 the territory of Colorado was a part of the USA as the 38th state which capital was Denver. At the end of the 19th century, in an interval between 1880 and 1895, In Denver, significant increase in crime was observed. At this time, special fame was gained by the criminal leader by nickname Soap Smith, who was in conspiracy with authorities and police and controlled elections, e-gaming and sharpers. The gang which are engaged in deception in cards. The city also suffered from a depression of 1893 because of sharp falling of price of silver. In 1887 in Denver, local religious leaders formed the charitable organization which became further international and now is known under the name United Way of America. It was engaged in fundraising and coordinating of the help to city poor people. By 1890 Denver became the second most populated city to the west from Omaha, but by 1900 moved to the third place, conceding to Los Angeles and San Francisco. In 1900, 96.8% of the population of Denver made white. In 1901, the General Assembly of Colorado made the decision on division of the District of Arapahoe into 3 parts. The new integrated city district, which part the city and the district Denver were. The new district of Adams and the remain site received the name Southern Arapahoe. But the resolution of the Supreme Court of Colorado and also the held referendum postponed creation separately of the city and the isolated district Denver up to November 15, 1902. Denver received a Congress of the National Convention of Democratic Party twice in 1908 and also in 2008, thereby having used chance to raise the status at the national level. The 20th century. From 1900 for 1920 the population of Denver doubled and reached a point of card people. By 1940 number was card people, apart from inhabitants of suburbs. Citizens in 1898 and 1899 organized a national conference of producers of cattle which since 1907 turned into an annual national exhibition of the cattle. Besides, Denver became the place of origin of juvenile courts where for their emergence the famous American lawyer Ben Lindsay stood up. At agrees one of versions, and Denver cheeseburger when in 1935 the local businessman Louis Ballast added a piece of cheese to hamburger was thought up. Prior to World War II the economy of Denver was based mainly on production and transportation of minerals and also production of agricultural products, generally beef and mutton. During war and after her termination in the city more technological industries began to develop, doing Denver by the important production center. At this time the population of the city promptly grew. Old shabby buildings communicated, on their place new were under construction. By 1950 representatives of the middle class began to move from the downtown to more spacious houses, therefore rapid growth of suburbs began. In the 1950th years Denver became the place of gathering of poets and writers of beat generation. One of the most important figures of generation of beatniks, Neal Cassady, the most part of the youth lived on Larimer Street in Denver. A part of the novel of Jack Kerouac was, On the Way, written in Denver and was based on real impressions of the city during the road travel. The founder of beatnikism, poet Allen Ginsberg, sometime lived in Lakewood, suburb of Denver. From 1953 to 1989 in 25 came from Denver Rockefletz's enterprise, the nuclear object of the United States Department of Energy producing plutonium for nuclear warheads was located. The fire on the subject in 1957 and also regular leak of radioactive waste for 10 years. From 1958 to 1968. Led to radioactive pollution of some districts of Denver, in particular, plutonium-239, which half-life period is 24200 years. Research of the chief physician of the District of Jefferson, Dr. Paul Johnson, conducted in 1981 showed communication between pollution and increase in number of children with congenital defects, and also the increased quantity of cancer diseases in the central Denver and some other areas located in close proximity with Rocky Flats plant. Further researches confirmed the majority of his conclusions. In 1970, Denver acquired the right for holding the Winter Olympic Games of 1976. This date coincided with the celebration of a centenary from the date of formation of the state of Colorado. However, in 1972, residents of Colorado took to the streets with protests concerning too high costs of holding games, and subsequently, following the results of the held referendum, competitions were postponed to Innsbruck. After refusal of holding the Olympic Games, the reputation of Denver considerably went down. The movement Minds Holding Games was based mostly on environmental problems and was headed by the politician Richard Lem, who further 3 times, 1975, 1987, got out to a post of the governor of Colorado. In June 2012, the project of carrying out in Denver of the Winter Olympic Games of 2022 was discussed, but the application wasn't submitted to the put time. The city is historically known under names the Royal City of Plains and the Royal City of the West, because of an important role in development of the agricultural industry of the region of the High Plains in the east of Colorado. Several ships of U.S. Navy were called USS Denver in honor of the city. USS Denver, KS-16, USS Denver, KS-58, USS Denver, LPD-9. Geography and climate. Denver is located between the Rocky Mountains in the west and the Great Plains in the east. The topography of the city is various. In the center it is the flat area, in the west and the south hilly sites prevail. The center of Denver is located on the East River bank, South Platte. According to these bureaus of an United States Census, the square of the city makes 401.3 km, from which 4.1 km, or 1.03%, occupy water spaces. In total, the city and the district Denver border on 3 other districts, with Adams in the north and the east, with Arapahoe in the south and the east, and with Jefferson in the west. The integrated city and the district Denver contains 78 neighborhoods. Such marking is used when planning and for administrative management in the city. Though the city plan defines borders of these neighborhoods enough randomly, it approximately corresponds to definitions of inhabitants. These neighborhoods shouldn't be confused with the cities and suburbs, which can be considered as independent legal entities within city agglomeration of Denver. These neighborhoods can differ cardinally from each other and include literally everything from skyscrapers of the beginning of the 20th century before modern suburban buildings. In general, the areas located in close proximity to the center of Denver are built up more densely. Here brick buildings prevail. Many neighborhoods which are at a distance from the center were created after World War II and constructed in modern style and of more modern materials. In the majority of the neighborhoods there are parks or other sites which are their cultural centers. Borders of these neighborhoods mostly don't coincide with administrative division of the city. Sometimes their borders are defined by locals. Sometimes such neighborhoods arose when builders defined borders of these sites. In Denver there are more than 200 parks, from mini parks in all corners of the city to huge, of 1.27 km, the city park. Many of parks of Denver were acquired from the state at the end of the beginning of the 20th century. It coincided with City Beautiful start of motion, and the mayor of Denver of the time, Robert Spear, disposed to be engaged in expansion and upclassing of park zones. Derman Rancho Schutz, who laid a hand to creation of the City Park, Washington Park, Chisholm Park and many others, became the first city landscape architect. On gardening of the city also other experts, such as Frederick Olmsted and Sacco Rink de Burr, were involved. These architects in particular, were engaged in upclassing of the park in the civil center and also many city avenues and boulevards. All parks ate water from the main city South Platte River. Since 1911, besides intracity parks, in Denver and its vicinities began to create mountain parks. For many years the city created and served the territory of mountain parks with a total area about 57 km, including the Red Rocks Park known for the natural amphitheater. The city also possesses the mountain on which the Resort Winter Park ski resort, which is in 110 km from Denver, functions. City parks are the important place for Denveritan tourists. Therefore, at each change of the area of the park, a type of park plantings between inhabitants and administration heated arguments erupted. Denver continues to increase the park system, breaking new parks along the River Platte and also in the natural center Bluff Lake. Besides in Denver the large network of communal gardens, most of which part the local non-profit organization Denver Urban Gardens manages, is located. Climate. Denver is located in a zone of steppes. The territory is an area of continental climate with 4 seasons and moderate level of rainfall. Located in the high plains at the foot of the Rocky Mountains, the city is subject to frequent changes of weather conditions. Climate of Denver very solar. In a year there are about 300 sunny days of 3106 hours. Average annual temperature in Denver is 10 C. Average annual rainfall -379. Warmest month July is. Average monthly temperature is about 23.4 C. Temperature fluctuates from in the summer moderated to hot. In the middle of July monsoons bring tropical humidity to the city that often is the reason of day thunderstorms. Coldest month in a year December is. Average monthly temperature is 1.1 C. Winters mostly soft with rare frosts. Days with a temperature more than 10 C are usual for the Denver winter. Would take place in sharp cold snaps when temperature falls below 18 C. Such days in a year there are about 7. But because of an arid climate and the mountainous arrangement and also influence of oceanic snow in Denver quickly thaws and doesn't manage to slush out here. Most snow month March when 29.7 CS of snow are on average put is. The lowest temperature for all the time of observations in Denver was recorded on January 9, 1875 and was 34 C. The highest, 41 C, was measured by the National Meteo Center on August 8, 1878. According to a census of 2010 in Denver, 600,158 people lived. The 23rd position in the list of the largest cities of the U.S.A. In the Denver metropolitan area lives 2,697,476. 2013. 21st in population. And in the bigger combined statistical area, Denver, Aurora minus 3,277,309. 2013. The 16th in population. According to a census minus 2010 in the city district of Denver, 600,158 people lived in 285,797 households. Population density minus 1428 people/km, including the airport. The average density of households minus 676/km. However, if to exclude from calculations the area 80249 near the airport, with 8407 inhabitants, at the territory in 122 km, average population density will increase up to 2112 people/km. Racial structure of the population. Descendants of Mexicans make 31.2% of the population of Denver, 14.6% of citizens, the German origin, 9.7%, the Irish, 8.9%, English, 4.0%, Italian. About 70.3% of inhabitants in life use mainly English, 23.5% Spanish. Distribution on age. Up to 18, 22.0%. 18, 24, 10.7%. 25, 44, 36.1%. 45, 64, 20.0%. 65 is also more senior minus 11.3%. Average age of citizens minus 33 years. 102.1 men are the share of 100 women. Average annual income of a household is $45438 per capita minus $24101. The income of men minus $36232, women minus $33768. 19.1% of the population. 14.6% of families are below the poverty line. From them 3% up to 18 years and 13.7% minus 65 are also more senior. Languages. For 2010, 72.28%. 386,815. Residents of Denver 5 years or more senior speak at home only in English, while 21.42%. 114,635. In Spanish. 0.85%. 4550. On Vietnamese. 0.57%. 3073. On African. 0.53%. 2845. In Russian. 0.50%. 2681. On Chinese. 0.47%. 2527. In French. 0.46%. 2465. In German. Thus 27. 72%. 148,335. Denverettes are more senior than 5 years speak not English. Unlike the majority of the capitals of states, the basis of the economy of Denver is the private sector. The advantageous geographical location made the city the convenient logistics center for the companies which are engaged in trade and transport services in Mountain Southwest and the West. In the city there are enterprises of various industries, such as aviation, raketno-kosmicheski, chemical, printing and food. Among the most known companies presented here, Mountain States Telephone and Telegraph Company. English. Russian. Created in 1911, nowadays a part of CenturyLink Corporation. Gates. The world's largest producer of industrial belts, founded in the southern Denver in 1919. Village Inn. One of the networks of fast food restaurants, most known in the USA, differing in the wide range in the morning menu. Kroger. Having 4 factories in Denver. Lockheed Martin and Ball Aerospace. In Denver, one of 2 mints of the USA is also located. An important role in urban economy is played by bank and insurance business, trade and telecommunications services sector. In Denver, the EMCO Corporation headquarters, the owner, largest in the USA, and the operator of apartment houses is placed. Historically, the city plays an important role in defense, space and energy projects of the American government. Tens of thousands of citizens are engaged in these spheres. The status of the capital of the state and transport hub of the region made Denver the location of large regional offices of a set of federal authorities. Along with various institutions of the state of Colorado and the city, they provide employment to more than 15% of inhabitants and attract numerous law and lobbyist firms to the city. In 2010, the gross product of the Denver agglomeration made $157 billion, that puts it on the 18th place on this indicator among agglomerations of the U.S.A. Denver is the city with one of the lowest unemployment rates in the USA, 3.8%. 2007. Transport. The city is served by the International Airport of Denver, located in 40 kilometers to the northeast from the business center. U.S.A. Den Ike. Dean. With a passenger turnover of 52.7 million people. 2011. It's the 11th indicator among the world airports and the 4th in the U.S.A. Flights to a set of the cities of the USA, Canada, Mexico and Central America, and also to London, Tokyo, Reykjavik and Frankfurt am Main are performed from the airport. With an area of 137.3 km. The airport of Denver is the largest airport in the USA and surpasses the island Manhattan in the area. At the railway station of Denver, the train California Zephyr, going along a route of Chicago, San Francisco, daily stops through Salt Lake City and Omaha. Public transport is in the Denver agglomeration under control of the Regional Transportation District Organization and consists of 168 bus routes and 6 lines of the high-speed tram. Science, Culture and Architecture. National Center for Treatment of Asthma. 2 universities. Denver University and Christian University, Colorado. Denver Art Museum, Museum of Modern Art and other museums. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.